Me and my wife has played on this phone for more than 400 hours, and without a doubt, we can say this is the best 600 bucks you could ever spend. It's got all the flagship qualities, amazing performance and thermals, crazy big battery, crazy fast charging, and so many more. So let me tell you everything you need to know, and let's get started right now. Selamat pagi! Good morning everyone, Kenneth here and welcome to my long-term review of the iQOO 13. I've had this phone for more than 4 months now, and today I'm going to share all the most important things, what makes this an amazing phone overall. Also, I'm finally in touch with PerfDoc for detailed gaming tests, so subscribe to not miss it. As always, everything said is my own honest opinion. I would really appreciate if you use the affiliate links when buying stuff. Just click through the links in the description and thank you so much. Now let's start with the unboxing and build quality. So as my first iQOO, I am very impressed here. From the soft matte box, the standard screen protector, case, charger and cable, but especially the phone itself in this black alpha color is very freaking handsome. There's another gray color in special white BMW with glass fiber back, but honestly the black one is so good, especially in a world where gaming phones use striking colors and motifs. This on the other hand is very low-key and inconspicuous. Now sandwiched by glass front and back, actually they don't use Gorilla Glass here, but instead a Carl Zeiss subsidiary, Scott, with the brand name Sensation Alpha, which honestly stands up very well to me, but I personally put on screen protectors in all of my phones to keep them pristine. So what I can say at least is I dropped this phone quite a lot, but no cracks have been seen so far, which is good. Now moving on to the side, this has an aluminum frame with tons and tons of antenna bands for strong reception, and it also has IP68 and 69 water resistance, which means it's protected against submersion and water jets. And not to forget, I love the camera ring that lights up to charging, notifications, and even gaming. Now unlike most Chinese phones I tried, the iQOO 13 is wide, like iPhone Pro Max wide. But instead of the blocky iPhone, or even worse, the Samsung Galaxy series, they curved the edges, especially on the back glass, making the phone so much nicer to handle. And then there's the 2K resolution screen with uniform, very minimal bezel. This is LTPO 1 to 144 Hz refresh rate and over 2500 Hz PWM dimming. Eye comfort is also a huge focus here, where they put physical OLED circular polarization layer that mimics natural light, so it reduces dry eyes risk and improves long-term comfort, which I hugely appreciate. Then you got HDR10 Plus for Netflix and the likes, and up to 4500 nits in brightness, which is very impressive on paper, but that's a very small, probably like a dot-sized local area, where if you use the whole screen, it can only go up to 1800 nits instead. Still, that's an improvement over previous generation devices, which helps with outdoor usage, and so far I haven't seen the phone getting hot enough and dimming itself way too soon, which is overall a very nice screen to have. Alright, hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed the video so far, and let's move on to the juiciest part, practically the whole reason why iQOO 13 exists in the first place, and that's the performance. This is one of the first phones to feature Snapdragon 8 Elite, a chip that's set to be in all 2025 flagships, and they're releasing it early last year in a $600 package. That's an incredibly good deal because 8 Elite is so damn good. We went from a super laggy Wuthering Waves on the S24 Ultra with 8 Gen 3 to a buttery smooth 60 FPS experience on a phone that's half the price. I don't think anything else can be said. I have seen some articles showing 8 Elite overheating on benchmark stress test, so the phone shut down and didn't complete the test, but in real life gaming, I played a breadth of very intensive games, all maxed out, from Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, even the relatively new Infinity Nikki that my wife was absorbed in for quite some time. And get this, I've never even had the phone warm up anything above 42 degrees, and that's unheard of in my life. You also get some extra features like 2K upscaling, which might help when you extend the screen to a TV, because yes, you can do that with the USB 3.2 Gen 1 port here. But when gaming on a phone, you might be more interested in high frame rate interpolation from the Q2 supercomputing display chip, which is an improvement from budget chips, because I don't notice any added latency or motion blur like in Honkai Star Rail here. It's basically perfect 90 FPS, but it can unlock higher FPS OS in other games such as Genshin, Honor of Kings, Call of Duty here, Mobile Legends, PUBG Mobile. So it's not every game that can do it, but when it does it really well. Now, I don't even have to talk about daily performance, right? Well, actually I do, because this phone is the very first time I've seen apps still open where I left them, even after I played Honkai Star Rail, Wuthering Waves, and I opened this browser, for example. I'm still there where I left it. Literally every other phone always obliterates other apps whenever you start any game, and I didn't do anything to the game enhancement feature. Pretty much everything is kept at default setting, but it still retains all these apps alive, and I just love it. Finally, I can feel that my phone has 16 gigabytes of RAM and I'm making use of them. Keep in mind that I have the 16 gig plus half a terabyte storage version here, but I think the lower 12 gigabyte version wouldn't fare too far off as well, because it's still a very big RAM for a phone. And this problem is usually caused by a more aggressive app management from the OS itself. Furthermore, let's talk about Funtouch OS, because I know more enthusiasts will love the Chinese version Origin OS for more features, but personally I'm perfectly fine with this. I can say it has the least amount of friction compared to other OS, like it doesn't force you to install third-party apps during setup. The home screen is flexible, like you can select multiple apps and delete them all at once. And I love the big folders view where you can tap directly into the apps inside. There's not much advertisement to be said as well. The only thing is global search that sometimes appear as a notification, but you can disable that very easily. And if there's anything that I could nitpick, it is the app drawer and how it keeps on scrolling. It doesn't instantly go to the apps when I search by letter on the right side here. Also, pop-up apps are paused when you minimize them to the side like this. So the best you can do is to swipe up on the small screen and let it reside on the corner, something I miss from Samsung, and I know that's a very specific use case to grind in Honkai Star Rail. So again, I'm really just nitpicking here. Now, notifications wise, I like how it's very close to stock Android, especially the side-by-side view when you're in landscape mode. This is very helpful, and the one and only real downside of Funtouch OS is the left to right swipe to switch apps like this doesn't work when you're with a third-party launcher. This is the case with both Vivo and iQOO, and probably it's the reason why Xiaomi decided to require the 3-button navigation all the way. But I have to tell you that everything works perfectly on Infinix, so that's a OS specific thing. Some other things worthy of mentioning is first the ultrasonic fingerprint sensor. It's incredibly quick and it doesn't light up the room at night. And it's located not too far down, which I really appreciate for ergonomics. Another thing not found on bigger brands is also multifunction NFC that can copy access cards, specifically 13.56 MHz and unencrypted cards. Still, most apartment and office cards can be copied, and I wish more phones actually do this. As for the battery, there's no wireless charging like the new Poco F7 Ultra, but in exchange you get a monstrous 6000 mAh battery and 120 watts charging. So 10 minutes will add 33% charge, 20 minutes adds around 70%, which is already more than enough for most use cases. Full charge will never take anything more than 30 minutes. Just make sure to turn on fast charging in settings first, because it is off by default. Now, what I really appreciate with iQOO is they care about the charging experience. Firstly, the temperature never touches anything above 42 degrees Celsius on the battery, which is amazing for a system that charges this fast. Then it also supports 100 watts PPS protocol, which means if you got a third-party charger around, you can also fast charge with that. And the included charger can also charge other devices like my MacBook Pro at 100 watts, which is amazing considering how portable this thing is. Additionally, the battery is rated at 1600 charge cycles. So far, I've been fast charging this every day for 4 months and my battery health is still at 100%. I think this is thanks to the overall system improvement from relatively cool charging, new battery material, and also bypass charging feature to minimize heat while playing game. The phone really endures. Though the bypass charging feature isn't like Infinix where you can customize how much power gets through. Here it's just a simple on and off button, but it's alright. Finally, let's talk camera, and I'll say it again and again. I love the UI, which is the same as Vivo phones, because you can tap on the magnifiers and get the lens millimeter equivalent to a full frame camera. Especially the possibility of picking 35mm lens, which is somewhere between 1x and 2x on most phones, phones is really nice to have. It has the right amount of crop. The other feature you need to know is the picture modes. We got vivid, textured, and natural. For most other test pictures you'll see later is shot on natural picture mode. That's my picture mode of choice, though you can say also the vivid option is not too far off, just a little more contrasty at times. What's really different though is textured mode, especially when you shoot buildings. The algorithm will not boost the shadows as much, which creates a more contrasty look between the bright and shadow part. But if you ask me, well, yes, camera is not iQOO 13's strongest point. I think it is still a solid camera setup. All 50 megapixel lenses from ultra wide, 1x, 4x zoom, everything is f2.0 or larger aperture. And just check out some of the shots I've taken here. I'll let the pictures speak for themselves because basically the colors are great. The difference between each lenses are not as apparent. You can switch between these lenses on the fly while recording videos, and especially the ultra wide. Finally, we've got similar detail and colors, though of course you still get better dynamic range in the main camera, which is understandable. Now, portrait mode is also very nice. Immediately sets you up to 35mm lens with a few other lens options, 24, 50, 100, not zoom times again, and the result produces a lot of keepers. Then you can adjust the f-stop and focus points after the fact. It's also got the usual features like image cutout or eraser, though don't expect Samsung level of expertise. It works in a pinch with removing people in the background. And not to forget, it also supports Google Circle to search, which is very, very helpful at times. You can even use it in the camera. Okay, I still stand by iQOO 13 being the perfect phone for most, but if you want the absolute best camera you can get now, then it's worth taking a look at the Vivo X200 Pro, which I'm going to review in the coming weeks. So subscribe and stay tuned. And yeah, what do you think of these phones compared to the competition? Looking forward to discussing them in the comments with you all. Okay, still in the camera department, let's check out the video quality now, which tops out at an impressive 8K 30, but honestly, that's overkill for most. So I default to 4K 60, and let's check out the results in these clips.
View is breathtaking right now, and so this is a little vlog test with the front camera of the iQOO 13. And let's turn on the voice separation here. Actually, it's more like vocal enhancement, so let's see if you can hear any difference. Wind is blowing at the phone right now to that side. Let's switch over to the back camera now. Okay, so we are now recording with the back camera, and let me walk a little bit here so you can see how the stabilization works. And what do you think of the sound quality? I cannot turn on voice enhancement here, but we are recording in 4K 60 on all the shots. So what do you think of the video quality? And that's gonna be it for the test.
Alright, so let me know what you think of the iQOO 13, and I actually didn't talk about the speakers because they are just fine. At least they're playing in stereo mode in both ends of the phone. But yeah, I'm fully aware also of the new Poco F7 Ultra, which is very similar in pricing and specs to this. Although unfortunately I didn't get to check it out this year, but let's see, maybe I can buy it for myself and review it for you too. I think that would be very interesting, but maybe after the X7 Pro first, because you want to see them test it, right? Anyway, that's pretty much it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you all, and I'm Kenneth. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.